Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing just great out there. Let's start with our new lecture, which is journalism and social media. So, let's talk about it. So, when we talk about journalism, um, from past like 15, 20 years, uh, with the invention of new technologies and um, social media, journalism is completely transformed. Now, social media plays very important role, whether it's news gathering or news disseminations. Uh, Journalists are becoming news outlets nowadays. Even citizen journalism is getting a lot of attention. Every single individual in this world, he is a journalist because now we are living in an era that is era of user generated content. User generated content is basically the content that is generated by you. For instance, if you are traveling in a marketplace and you see something is happening out there, you can record it on your mobile phone and you can upload it on YouTube, where the whole wide world is watching you, or you can tweet it, or you can share it on your Facebook. That makes you a citizen journalist. So, what actually social media is? First, we need to understand what social media is and how it deals with a niche audience. When we talk about social media, it includes all these technologies, all these online platforms like Flickr, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, online news websites. These all are social media platforms. When we go to a very conservative definition of social media, basically it's the use of web-based and mobile technologies to turn communication into an interactive dialogue. So that means you are creating an interactive content. What was happening in the past? The content that was created by televisions or from the newspapers, that content was not interactive content. That was kind of a one-way communication. But social media technologies or the social media platforms, they enables us to start an interactive dialogue where you can post a video or a comment on someone's video and you get instant feedback from that person. Again, it is an umbrella term that defines the various activities that integrate technology, social interaction, and the construction of the word and pictures. Now it enables us not only to write something, but it enables us to present ourselves front of the camera the way I'm talking to you. It enables us to record a video and post it with graphics, with textual representations, with any pictures as well. So that means social media has empowered us to do more, and it has turned all of us into a citizen journalist. So let's talk about a little bit history. Um, if we talk about social media, um, it was year of 1990 when newspapers were basically less interactive. That was kind of one-way communication. But on the other hand, there was a lot of work being done in the field of internet when World Wide Web was created, and right after 5 6 years, there was a huge development in the field of information technology. And with the inception of Google and other online technologies, it actually revolutionized the way we practice journalism. With the invention of Facebook, Twitter, photo sharing websites, video sharing websites like YouTube in 2005, and widely available information through Wikipedia and other news websites, it enabled common people to act as a journalist. So that means social media empowered masses and uh, unheard voices of people. When we talk about citizen journalism, it's the concept of members of the public playing an active role in the process of collecting, reporting, analyzing, and disseminating news and information for other people. So, the reporting of facts produced and distributed via the internet, you gather information in social media channels and then report it to your readers. Now, if you want to be a journalist, you do not need a television station or you do not need a newspaper organization to give you a chance to become a journalist, because a lot of independent journalists, they have their own blogs, they have their own YouTube channels, they are very active on Twitter, and they actually make and break decisions in government, in politics, in social sector as well. So we call them influencers. So influencers are very important in social media. They could be journalists as well. They are basically, you can say, independent content generators. They generate content, and that content influence social sectors or the political sector. There are some pros and cons as well in this scenario. um, Wider and immediate circulation you have of your content, while the credibility of the media source is always, it's a dark portion on social media. Because if someone has posted some picture or some video on social media, you don't know where it came from and what is the source of that person. But in contemporary journalism, you exactly know the journalist who has given you some news story or who uploaded some picture or video. So credibility will remain an issue in social media. Content is much more pointed and personal, while everyone remembers who got it wrong. So if you do something wrong on social media, everyone will remember it. It's expanding and illuminating the news, but original content is not available on social media. Uh, Complete picture of the event, other reporters can check what the other journalists are doing on social media. That is again con of this social media trend. As I told you, that social media content is user generated content and audience have a bigger voice than before. People are migrating online. Newspaper have online platforms. Television channels are now thinking to shift online for relevant and concise information, because now television stations are of opinion that uh, contemporary television business is basically very expensive, while shifting your news or the news outlet on social media is um, inexpensive and it's easy to do as well. So 46% of the population go online to look news at least 3 times per week. Let me say now it's like above 50% of population of this planet. They look online 3 times per week for the news. Uh, 200 news sites with the highest traffic are 81% are the traditional media or the aggregators of it. Consumers tend to trust and rely more on their peers and social network community, because if someone you exactly know, you will definitely follow his Twitter feed or his social media feed. It has the most important thing is it has intermediate global reach, massive, I would rather say. It has interaction with the audience, instant feedback, because if someone has uploaded video, obviously you can interact with that video. The audience gets to know the reporter on a more personal level. There is more intimacy because reporter is directly talking to the audience. So what I believe in social media, there is more intimacy compared to the conventional media. But there is a higher dependency on social media tools as well. Even real professional journalists or some public figures also use them. It builds new relationships. People trust information on their own network, though there are credibility issues on social media, because you don't know where the content is coming from, but still people trust information on their own networks. The networks they know. Let's say I have a friend who is a journalist. So probably I will not watch him on television, but I will follow his Twitter feed because I know he's a journalist and he has correct news story with him. That's why I'm following that journalist on social media. But again and again, I'm talking about ethical issues. Journalists are not hard to differentiate. They are from different backgrounds with different purposes. They have their own agenda as well. They have different set of norms as well. So the question comes how to control it, because it's an open platform. Anyone with a laptop or with a mobile phone, he or she can use social media. So there are three things: sources, verification, and citing. So if you are posting some content, you should mention the source, you should verify the information, and you should cite the sources as well. So it will be quite ethical. If you post any content without sources or without verifying or without citing your sources, it's quite unethical. So information repositories such as Wikipedia, with more than three-quarters of journalists across all four markets turning to them on a weekly basis. But you must be knowing that Wikipedia is basically it's in public domain, and it's edited and managed by common people. And the information you find on Wikipedia, that is not reliable. Probably that some most of the time that is not reliable. I would not rather say that it's completely unreliable, but most of the time it's not reliable because you don't know who has edited this information, whether it's true or not. So mostly in academics or in journalism as well, we ask our students and our journalist fellows that do not copy information from Wikipedia, and do not copy information from the websites you consider are not credible. Um, what is the future of journalism in the age of social media? That is a pressing question. What I believe, in coming years, most of the TV channels, they are going to shift on social media platforms like YouTube, or they will share content through Twitter or their Facebook feed, or they will put up a very fancy, nice website and they will put their content on website. It's happening now because contemporary televisioning and contemporary newspaper business is quite expensive compared to putting your news outlet on social media. Because on social media you can have crowdsourcing as well. You know the concept of crowdsourcing, that you actually engage a lot of people with you when you collect the content or when you gather the information or news stories. So mostly news will be published online. It is already online, but we still have newspapers. But I believe future of printed newspaper is quite dark, because on social media you have real-time coverage compared to the newspaper, because whatever is happening today in the world, you will get that information next day when the newspaper will print. While on social media you have real-time coverage or real-time information, like YouTube or online web-based technologies, because whenever the news breaks out, you can update it on your website or you can put up a live blog as well. um, Collaborative reporting is very important aspect of online journalism. So there will be collaborative reporting. You will be collaborating with a lot of people. You will be collaborating with journal public as well, journal social media users as well. You will be collaborating with um, other journalists as well. So there will be collaborative reporting. So mostly story-based journalism will be done in coming years, because social media is a platform where people have a lot of other diversions, because in one browser, in they have several tabs opened up. Probably in one tab they have Netflix, in other tab they have probably Facebook or Twitter. So if you want to keep your audience intact, you need to have a story. So storytelling will have a very bright future in journalism. Journalists will become a curator. They will produce their own content. Probably They will not in search of any news outlets to disseminate their content. Right now, a lot of journalists need a news outlet like television or any news website, any newspaper to actually disseminate their content. But in future, mostly journalists will be running their own websites, their own YouTube channel. It's happening now in Pakistan. A lot of anchors, they are having their own YouTube channel. So, what I believe, journalists will become a separate brand or a separate television channel. So, as an individual, you can become a television channel. So, you will become a curator as well. So, eventful and wonderful and purposeful and storyful kind of channels will be coming to your way in future. Uh, People will be choosing what they want to watch or uh, what they want to escape. So, not the editor. Right now, editor are deciding that what you are watching on your television screens, you are not deciding. But in future, you will be deciding what you will be watching on your computer, on your laptops, or on your mobile screens, because a third party intervention will be eliminated. Some of the important tech tools, if you want to be on social media as a journalist: Twitter, you need to set up an RSS feed, social bookmarking, organization, Dropbox and Google Docs, multimedia, blogs, etc., etc. You need to look into them as well. Um, if you want to be an independent journalist, let me give you a very brief on Twitter, because without a Twitter account, obviously it's difficult to reach public. So every year, a lot of people are joining Twitter. Almost every journalist is on Twitter. There are verified accounts of journalists and political parties and international organizations on Twitter, so you can reach out anyone. In previous years, it was difficult to reach Prime Minister's office for a common person, but right now you can reach Prime Minister's office through Twitter because they have their verified Twitter account. Um, so how journalists are using? They engage our audience and create a niche community. They can connect with the people, with the sources through social media because it is easy. They develop their own personal brand, like a lot of journalists are. I mean, a very kind of personal kind of brands. They link to their work. They crowdsource content. The the most beautiful thing about social media is that you can crowdsource a content. Let's say, and let me give you an idea. You want to work on domestic violence, and you crowdsource that report, and you ask people to participate in your project, to crowdsource your project. So people will actually, what they are going to do, they are going to edit your project, they are going to give you script as well, they are going to give you videos as well, and at the end of the day you will have a very wonderful collaborative project. Get questions are answered on social media. It provides, Twitter provides actually real-time news. How students can use it. You can follow leaders in the industry and the academia as well, stay current, connect and network with professionals or other students as well. You can research and find sources. You can collaborate with other students. You can collaborate with other universities as well, with other professors as well, because mostly they are on Twitter. So uh, you can study it as a way to distribute news. Practice distributing news through Twitter. So, as a student of mass media, as a student of news reporting, I recommend you to be on Twitter as soon as possible. I know most of you are already on Twitter, so you can use it for the research purpose. Many intelligent people are tweeting and willing to share their ideas. You can have insight into the social aspects of communication. You can gain background for interviewing or writing. Even you can talk to important journalists as well on social media. You can take tips from them. You can verify information. Let's say if there is a news story, you can verify it from an eminent journalist of your country. You can develop story ideas as well. Twitter could be a great news source. I myself use Twitter as a news source. I do not visit a lot of websites for my news consumption. Let's say I have followed like NPR on Twitter. I'm following BBC, CNN, Voice of America, NBC, CBC, etc., and local news channels. So it could become an important source of news. Let me tell you, Osama bin Laden's death was a very important event in Pakistan in 2011, and 12.4 million tweets were done in 1 hour. And let me tell you that news of Osama bin Laden's raid in Abbottabad, that news was also broke on Twitter, because it's immediate. You just write it, you post a tweet, and it will go to the whole wide world. There are some principles for live tweeting. Each tweet should cover one point at a time, because you have a limit of words, limit of characters in Twitter. Think subjects, verbs like headlines. Strive to make each understandable, self-contained message. And you need to be very careful observer and have an eye open for novel and important information that might be relevant to your audience. So when you are tweeting, you need to look for important journalists and important people, decision makers, how they are tweeting. So learn from them as well, that how they are tweeting. Grammar is obviously, and punctuation is very important for the clarity. You need to be um, um, taking care of these things. Avoid using points and jargons and slangs in your Twitter, because that is not going to pay you a lot. Verify the information before you tweet. Admit what you do not know. Credit what you are using. Remember, you need to keep this thing in this mind that it's public. And obviously, if they are following you, very next day they can unfollow you as well. It tweets can be libelous. I mean, if you have tweeted something that defames someone, obviously they can drag you in the court of law as well, because in Pakistan we have very strong cybercrime law as well. Mostly FIA, Federal Investigation Agency, is dealing with such kind of complaints. So if you defame someone on Twitter, if you use abusive language on Twitter, definitely they can drag you into court of law. Um, so, that's these are some more tips on social media, like hashtags, how you can use hashtag, because if a conversation is going on Twitter, you can use a hashtag to give your comment in an ongoing information, in an ongoing conversation. So hashtags are important, you need to understand. So these are some guides for Twitter, how to use Twitter, some etiquettes, 10 commandments of Twitter, um, 10,000 words for Twitter, 20 tips for journalists who want to be on Twitter. Twitter for journalists is a separate website. You can actually visit that website as well. Let me show you how does it look like. So you can go Twitter for journalists, and you can use that website as well. So let's go a little further. So when you are on social media, staying current is very important. RSS feeds actually help you to quickly get up to the speed on a subject. It gives you a recent additions, what are happening in a discussion. Blogs, websites, Twitter feeds are again very important. Google Reader is again very important RSS feed. Um, Social bookmarking is very important. Keep online documents organized and have a quick access to them, because you might be sharing those documents on your Twitter feed. So you need to have account of either Dropbox or Google Drive or something like that, where you can keep your documents, your pictures, your videos you want to share with your audience or your public. So that's it for today. We'll meet next time with a new lecture. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Have fun. Bye bye.